Yo, what is going on everyone? Doozy here, and welcome back to some Destiny 2. Alright guys, so we got another article from Gameinformer this time. They're talking about some of the lost sectors, more specifically these things called Outlaw Lost Sectors. And they talk a little bit about the Spider as well, which is a new NPC that's going to be coming in Forsaken. So as always, if you want to check out the full article for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description. But anyways, basically it starts off, it's kind of talking about how Destiny 2's destinations, they don't really have any meaning when you're doing the flashpoints, except for how you have to do public events. And lost sectors, they don't really have any meaning, like they don't help you out, and neither do patrols either. But they say that Bungie, they want to add more activities into the flashpoint milestone, and they want to give players new targets that they can chase, or hunt to be specific is what they said. But right now they don't have specific details, but they are looking to improve the experience on Destiny 2's locations. So I'm actually really glad that they're doing this, because I fully agree that when you're doing the Flashpoint milestone, there's really no reason to do anything else except public events. And then, after you finish your Flashpoint milestone, there's nothing at all to do. There's really no reason to do Lost Sectors unless it's the Faction Rally event going on. But other than that, there's nothing to do. So yeah, I'm really glad that they're going to try to improve that. But before they actually go into detail about some of these outlaws and the Outlaw Lost Sectors, they have a picture of the Spider in his chair thing, whatever it is. So the Spider is one of the new NPCs that's going to come in Forsaken. And we've seen a few times in some of the gameplay and some of the clips, if you look at some of the weapons, you can see like the lore tab, and it has the Spider on them, so there is a chance that we could get certain weapons or maybe some armor from him. And I'm thinking that some of these are going to come from these Outlaw Hunts, which I'm about to go over. So anyways, it says more hunting and less loitering, and it says that the week that Forsaken launches, players will find the Flashpoint milestone to work a little bit differently, and rather than simply wait for the public events and hop back and forth between those, they say that players will also now be able to venture into lost sectors and complete patrols while they wait for the Flashpoint milestone. But they then go on to say making pre-existing activities more enticing is just the start, and the players will also find themselves on the hunt for many of the outlaws who've escaped the Prison of Elders as they explore, even after the end of Forsaken's campaign. And they say these criminals have managed to worm their way across every destination in Destiny 2 and can be found in nearly every activity. They can appear as part of a public event, as high-value targets roaming any world, mini bosses and strikes, which that's pretty neat, and even during the Gambit matches. And then they say as for more difficult bosses, they'll be in several of the currently available lost sectors, and they'll replace the bosses currently there. And they say that this does mean that anyone who's actually playing through the campaign for the first time, they won't be able to take them on right away. But it then goes on to say, while the new triumphs and collection screen will help you keep track of which outlaws you've slain, the Spider will give you a reason to care about hunting them. A fallen leader allied with the last city, the Spider has a personal interest in these outlaws, and he will offer bounties to undertake that will offer a hint as to where the outlaw's location is. And they say that these bounties will cost you, so I guess you have to pay maybe some glimmer or legendary shards or something for it, but they say that they pay handsomely if you complete them. So like I mentioned before, I really hope that if you do these bounties, they'll award some weapons or maybe some armor that are related to the Spider. I think that would be pretty neat. But anyways, after that, they say not all outlaws are created equal. However, the Spider knows only certain guardians will have what it takes to hunt down certain targets. As such, the Spider offers 4 tiers of bounties, and each one is catered to a different power level. So it says while the first 3 tiers will have you travel across each location and perform a variety of tasks, the final tier will have you undertake a new kind of activity, the Outlaw Lost Sector. So it says in addition to some of the newly powered up Lost Sector bosses, Outlaw Lost Sectors will offer an additional challenge. After you agree to take on the highest tier bounty from the Spider, which most Guardians won't be strong enough to tackle until after they finish the campaign, you'll then activate an objective to track down one of the most powerful outlaws who've escaped the Prison of Elders. And once you find the right location, you'll have to fight through a much more difficult version of that Lost Sector, including 1 brand new boss encounter with an outlaw per destination, excluding the Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City, so a total of 6 new boss encounters across all locations. And then after that, they talk a little bit about the 2 Lost Sectors, or the 2 Outlaw Lost Sectors they got to play through. And they say the first one was on the European Dead Zone, and they had to hunt down an outlaw called the Wanted Silent Fang. And they say that when they're going through the Lost Sector, they encounter these barriers. So I'm sure you've seen some of these across the the world as you've played. They've even been in like certain missions, and they said as they were clearing out enemies, the exploder shanks would drop these little bombs, and they'd have to use those to break through the barriers. But then they say that once they actually reached the final boss, that he had a invulnerable barrier around him. But they say they also saw these little machines kind of tucked away, kind of like around the edge of the area, and they're kind of like a glowing white, but they also have an impenetrable barrier. So they did the same thing that they did earlier, and when they killed the exploder shanks, they threw those bombs at them, and once it destroyed the machines, his invulnerable shield went down. And they said that they had to cycle through this 3 different times to actually beat him, so I don't know if he's going to have, you know, 3 different sectors of his health, or maybe they just didn't deal enough damage in a certain amount of time. But still, it's pretty neat that there are actually new mechanics that are added to these. But anyways, after that, they talk about the second one they actually went through. So this one was on Titan, and we actually saw a clip of this the other day when they were showing off the new auto rifle. But anyways, in this one, they say they had to hunt down the Gravetide Summoner, and they say this dungeon isn't as intricate as the one in the EDZ, but they say it does involve the Gravetide Summoner, which is a hive wizard who summons a powerful ogre who we have to defeat, and they say it is a health sponge, so basically just empty bullets and stuff into it. But besides the ogre, they said there's also all kinds of thrall and stuff that surround you, and even a shrieker that spawns in. So they said that you got to be aware of all the thrall and curse thrall and everything running in. But as far as the actual boss goes, they say that he's not as beefy as the ogre, but he packs quite a punch. So I guess like a glass cannon or whatever it's called. So maybe you can kill this boss pretty quick, but if you're not careful, he can also take you out pretty quick. But anyways, they then go on to finish this off by saying that the Outlaw Lost Sectors are going to be the biggest change coming to Forsaken, but they just serve the purpose to, you know, add more, I guess, things to do to the Flashpoint milestones and make it feel like the worlds or the locations are more lively. But anyways, as for my overall thoughts for this, so I'm really glad that they're actually making a change to the Lost Sectors and making them more challenging and actually make them mean something now. You know, you can actually do them for your Flashpoint milestones. I just really hope that they get better rewards. Like, ever since Destiny 2 launched, I've always wanted like Lost Sector specific loot. You know, maybe a few of the bosses can have a certain weapon, some can have certain armor pieces. I mean, you could even add in like shaders or ghosts or maybe transmat effects or even mods. You could add like mods or parts that you have to collect. There's tons of stuff that they could do for that, and I really hope they improve on that for Forsaken. But then as for the Outlaw Hunts, I think these actually sound pretty interesting. I hope that we can get like powerful gear from these, and maybe the spotter will have like weapons or some armor that we can earn after we complete these. You know, kind of like the bounties that Petrovenge had back after the Taken King, or at least something similar to that. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then lastly, for the Outlaw Lost Sectors, these actually look pretty fun. So like basically mini strikes. I don't know if all of them are going to have, you know, some of the mechanics like that one did where you have to take down the shields and stuff, but it is pretty neat they're actually changing these. Just once again, I really hope that the rewards are worth it. Yeah, anyways guys, that was basically it for this article. So as I mentioned earlier, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go check it out. But let me know what you guys think about this stuff. What you think about the Outlaw Lost Sectors as well as the Outlaw Hunts. But aside from that, I guess that's about it for this video. So as always, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you did enjoy, if you could take a second to leave a thumbs up on the video, I'd really appreciate it. And also subscribe if you're new here. And I guess until next time, I'll catch you all later.